Oftentimes, you will hear folks say that they want an artist to evolve with their content, to show some maturity, to show growth, and to even experiment with a different sound from time to time. But the reality of it is, when artists actually do these things, people will say they want the old version back. And Pusha T is smart enough to know this, and he understands that sticking to the script is what the people truly want. I mean, imagine Pusha T doing heavy social commentary and talking about parenting on an album. Yeah, I can't either. So the face of coke rap and the president of good music, Pusha T, is back with this brand new album entitled It's Almost Dry. This comes 4 years after his critically acclaimed Daytona project that many regard as a classic, or at least a near classic. However, he has just flooded the almost dry streets with some new product. He has more noise candy and nostalgia on deck to get us right after the long drought. On the production front, this time around is Pharrell and Kanye. There's some additional production from 88 Keys, Labyrinth, and Bugs the Beast, but it's mainly a Kanye and Pharrell affair. Pharrell actually handled 6 of the tracks, while Kanye is credited as being involved with 5 of them, and they even joined forces together for 1. This thing is 15 minutes longer than Daytona, clocking in at around the 35-minute mark, which is generally viewed as the sweet spot for albums. But with that being said, let me go ahead and hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Brambleton, has a wavy beat from Pharrell. I love the colorful synths and 808s. Altogether, it's a smooth, vibe-heavy beat that is signature Pharrell. The title, Brambleton, is based off a street in Norfolk, VA, where Pusha T allegedly got busy back then. And on this record, he's giving us some reflective storytelling, taking us back to his Reasonable Doubt time. And he's providing receipts for those who may ever question the depth of his street involvement. I just love the silky, smooth flow he uses throughout. He raps, beach dudes wanted work that they could move out quick, but my Norfolk dudes, they was on some shootout shit. You and I, we were different, like the two got mixed, buying biggies but was riding on that Tupac shit. There are 3 dope verses from Pusha. On the third, he addresses the Vlad TV interview with the former Clips manager, Tony, who he felt snitched to Vlad. Wow, imagine someone feeling pressured to snitch to Vlad. Unheard of, right? But overall, I feel this is a fantastic opener. I love the instrumental, the storytelling, his flow, delivery. Track 2, Let the Smokers Shine, the Coupe, has a cool title that instantly gave me the visual of dusty fiends diligently washing down someone's car. Look, I know crackheads and drug addicts are easy targets for disrespect, but they can be some of the hardest working people low-key, especially when they need that product. Now for this beat, we get a raw and chaotic instrumental from Pharrell. It's almost like he was channeling a combo of RZA and Kanye here. At first, the beat wasn't clicking for me, but by the second time I ran it through, it easily became one of my favorites. For some reason, the title was giving me strong Purple Tape vibes, like I could envision Ray and Ghost using similar imagery, but overall, it's a hard as nails track. Song 3, Dreaming of the Past, features soul sample Kanye in his bag, chopping up an attractive Donny Hathaway sample, and Pusha has a knack for bringing out this version of Kanye. It's bright, soulful production that could have easily fit on Daytona. Push has the following ill bars. Get money like Ye sampling, gun stutter, make the drum line like Grambling, MGM gambling, blew a small mansion. Pusha's performance was stellar, but I can't say the same for Kanye's. Although I didn't mind it, it's just that his vocals seem poorly mixed, but I'm sure the folks at Good Music will say it's intentional. But overall, it's a fire song that finds the two rekindling their magic. Now, track 4, Neck and Wrist, I had already done a track review for. It seemed like the majority of people disliked it, and that made me feel that I was being too generous initially. But after hearing it on the album, my views on it haven't changed. I like the futuristic and bass heavy beat from Pharrell, and the hook still goes hard. However, I will admit that it's not as good as Push and Hov's previous collaboration, Drug Dealers Anonymous, that's for sure. Lyrically, they went a lot harder on that record. That being said, I do feel this fits pretty well in the overall sequencing of the album, and I wouldn't view it as a skip. Track 5, Just So You Remember, contains production from Bugs the Beast and Kanye. It's a different sounding instrumental with an early 70s English rock sample and some tribal drums, but it's still pretty minimalist sounding. With this record, Pusha is giving us some precise, razor sharp lyricism. Not only are the bars super crisp, but they are delivered with such precision and clarity. And he's letting us know that he's the HCDIC, the head coke dealer in charge. Pusha raps, just so you remember who you dealing with. The purest snow, we selling white privilege. Designer drugs will turn dudes limitless. Designer clothes, these hoes losing innocence. The book of blow, just know I'm the genesis. I also found the following lines to be amusing for some reason. We fight for the bill, you dudes still chipping in. It just gave me the visual of some broke boys arguing about paying for dinner, and you contrast that sharply with the image of rich alpha male coke dealers trying to see who could tip more. But yeah, as a whole, this record has some of the sharpest lyricism on the project. Track 6, Diet Coke, was released months back as the first single, and it still stands out as one of the strongest records on the project. Here, Push and Kanye dug up an old 88 keys instrumental and chopped it up a bit. I love the Fat Joe vocal scratches as it gives it a raw and traditional hip hop flavor, specifically a mixtape banger from the 2000s. I cannot see many boom bap heads finding fault with this one. Yeah, Diet Coke just has a classic feel. Afterwards is Rock and Roll featuring Kid Cudi and Kanye. It's also a song where Kanye and Pharrell produced together. The way they pitched the Beyonce vocal sample does somewhat put me in the frame of mind of old Heatmaker's production. Yeah, the Chipmunk soul vibes were in full effect with this one. Sonically, I like this record for the most part, even though I didn't care much for Kanye's portion. Kid Cudi isn't a go-to artist for me by any means, but I didn't think he did an awful job here. Although, I could see some folks disliking this record primarily because it does feature Kanye and Kid Cudi, but I don't really have a problem with it. It's not a favorite either. Track 8, Call My Bluff, has a quirky Neptunes sounding beat from Pharrell. It's pretty damn skeletal and stripped back, but there's still a menacing edge to it. It's not a beat that really jumps out at you, but Pusha does kill it with this flow change up that sort of reminded me of a mix between Slick Rick and Mace. Pusha states, don't make me call my TTGs with Dracos, who all got amnesia until the case closed. Sometimes I wish my fan base was more like J. Cole's, but dope boys gotta be the men like they know. That wishing his fan base was more like J. Cole's was pretty hilarious because there is a completely different energy with the two. This is one of those records where I don't think the production was too striking, but the artist made the most of it. Track 9, Scrape It Off, features Lil Uzi and Don Toliver. Two features that no one asked for whatsoever. It seems like Pusha was aiming to please the contemporary melodic trap crowd with this one, but I don't actually mind the hook from Don Toliver, if I'm being completely honest. However, the Lil Uzi feature was completely trash. No questions about it. Of all the guys you select Lil Uzi, he had to have been pandering. Pusha's version was pretty solid, as I liked his My Boy scheme throughout. And fortunately, the beat from Pharrell was fire. But altogether, this will be looked at as the most disliked track by purists and traditionalists. Yeah, looking at the overall picture, this will be looked at as the weakest link, although it's not awful. Now, following this is Hear Me Clearly with Nigo. It was released as the second single It's a very bar-heavy track produced by Kanye and Boogs the Beast. The production is a nice blend of old school and contemporary. It's dark, grimy, and aggressive, but yet there's a chic quality to it that makes it stand out and almost sound timeless. His opening lines are pretty hard. These drug dealer rollies is my TikTok and Triller. Insecure bitches get lip filler. Yeah, Pusha, I'm with you on that. The lip filler and injections gotta go. I don't think most men even like those. His see the difference between me and them, I moved to a different drum like EDM was pretty clever too. All in all, I am glad that I didn't play this song out prior because it is one of the hardest tracks. The second to last song, Open Air, is also one of the highlights. Here we are getting a crisp beat from Pharrell with an ill flute and organ sample. It's luxurious yet punchy. On this one, Pusha reflects back to the crack epidemic of the 80s, the open air drug markets where fiends will be lined up for blocks and millions will be made daily. I dug the following line. Ain't no Tony in my circle. We Sosa's here and these 10 crack commandments. I'm Moses. Yeah. Blasphemous as fuck, but great. Then the album wraps up with I Pray For You. The organ heavy beat makes me feel that it could have been a leftover from the Donda sessions, but it is still well produced. And it's a Clips reunion, which was long overdue. But Malice drops the no from his name and just appears as Malice from the old days, which was very unexpected as I don't recall hearing in the news about this change. Now, selfishly, there's a part of me that does like this change because we will be getting those coke bars from Malice, but there's another part of me that wants him to stay on this spiritual path and to be in a good space mentally. While Pusha came through with a dope verse, Malice was the MVP of the song. He states, Vietnam flashbacks, I get triggered by a sniff. Today's top 5 only strengthening my myth. Belong on Mount Rushmore just for chiseling a brick. Fire. Also, 3 record deals show me ignorance was bliss. Trying to milk a game that is only 2%. X told you hell is hot. I told you repent. It's a strong way to close out the album that does hint at the possibility of new music from Malice, as well as a Clips project. Overall, I give this album a rating of 4 mics. At the end of the day, it did meet my expectations and I consider it to be a worthy follow-up to Daytona. It was 15 minutes longer than Daytona, so you could expect that a track or two might not be as potent. And that was the case with 1 to 2 songs like Scrape It Off and Call My Bluff. Still, as a whole, I did find this project to be more consistent and cohesive than his solo work prior to Daytona, so it's easily a top 3 Pusha album for me. That being said, I can almost predict that there will be some people who will say the project is mid or underwhelming, and that's okay, but it's really got some strong and well-produced tracks. A few that sound even timeless, in my opinion, like Diet Coke, Hear Me Clearly, and even Open Air. There was great lyricism and flows to be found throughout, and Pusha does flex his chemistry with both Kanye and Pharrell. There was nothing dull or sleepy about the project either, which was another strength for me. Hopefully, though, his work ethic will be a little more prolific for the remainder of the year and upcoming one. My favorite tracks include Brambleton, Let the Smoker Shine, to Coupes, Dreaming of the Past, Just So You Remember, Diet Coke, Hear Me Clearly, Open Air, and I Pray For You. Let me know what you thought of this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Pusha T, It's Almost Dry. 1.